Hi, George.
Hi, Anna.
So now you have had 6 successful startups. You're on to a 7th. Why? What makes Ventripoint so special?
Well, yeah, six going on 7. Ventripoint was special because this is the first time that I actually got a hold of a company where the product was ready to go. Every one of my previous ones, you take it right out of the university lab and technology and build it into a product and hope you get it there in time before the market changes. So Ventripoint's been through that valley of death, and the market didn't change, and so the system works remarkably well. And when I did my due diligence before I decided to become the CEO, I phoned a number of cardiologists, and they said, we've been waiting for this for 2 years. We've stopped buying things because we want to buy this one.
That's what you want to hear.
Why, where is it? It was the common parameter. So it just takes regular old 2D echo. Right. It's a cardiac machine, so it's looking at your heart. Regular old 2D echo, and we were able to make a 3-dimensional model of the heart using the 2D echo. And it gives you exactly the same information you get out of MRI.
Okay.
So you don't have to do an MRI anymore, you can just do an echo. And every cardiologist in the world has a 2D echo machine, and every one of them has to wait for months to get onto an MRI.
So now who benefits from VMS?
So the biggest benefit here is the patient. They don't have to wait 3 months to do an MRI. Right. The procedure takes 10 minutes instead of an hour inside of an MRI. And if you're a child, well, the biggest effect is in the children's population, because a child can't lie motionless inside an MRI for an hour, so they have to have a general anesthetic. So you have a kid with a bad heart who now has to have a general anesthetic. And so that's the big benefit to the children. The doctor actually benefits too, because they don't have to wait 3 months to get the answer. They have an echo machine, they can get the answer on the first visit, and so they can decide what to do with the patient right there. And the third person or entity that benefits is the healthcare system, because it's done at a tenth of the time, a tenth of the cost. It's still a high margin business, but you can liberate your MRI to do something more useful.
So how is commercialization going, and what are patients, how are people responding to VMS?
Going wonderfully. We've been at it for a little over a year now. We have 15, 18 sites all over the world, Paris, London, Toronto, all over the United States using it, top cardiologists. So we've been very selective in only giving it to all the thought leaders and all the early adopters, and they love it. They think it's great. It's kind of like an iPhone in that every time you have another indication, another heart problem, whether it's congestive heart failure or congenital heart disease, you have to have a new application. So I have 30 or so users, and they all have another application they want me to build. So
now, you, I hear, have just closed a $3 million financing. Yes. What are you going to do with the cash?
We have 3 priorities. One is to get through the FDA. It's a 510K, so it's not a phase 1, 2, 3. It's just a 510K application, a 90-day review. We just have to show the ultrasound system works as well as MRI, and we've shown that all over the world and published that in major journals already, so it's not a risk. So we're going to fund those FDA trials. We're going to drive sales, hire some more salesmen, and we have hundreds of people in Europe and in North America who want to buy one of these machines, and we just can't get to everybody. And the third thing is we just announced a partnership with one of the major ultrasound companies, which we're not allowed to mention their name, but it's one of the top 5, because we're trying to build an integrated system. So basically we'll let them build an integrated 2D ultrasound machine with our little bit of hardware that we have on it, and then we just become a software company where we simply sell one application after another after another. And like the previous company, we have a cloud computing system, so you have to ping our server to get the reconstruction done, so we know it every time you use it, and we'll be hopefully migrating the marketplace to a per-use model.
Now, George, what is your exit strategy?
Well, we want to grow the business, but the reason there's only 4 or 5 big players in this space is because they buy up everybody else. And so I think in all likelihood we'll be acquired in the not too distant future, especially if this joint venture we've done with the major is successful. I think that they'll want to own us rather than pay us the large royalties that they would have to pay us.
Well, you seem to be doing so well. What is your motivation to get out of bed in the morning?
We only got 15 or 18 of these machines out there, but we've already saved hundreds and hundreds of children from going through the MRI procedure. So I get up in the morning, I look at my usage numbers, and I say, wow, that's hundreds of kids who didn't have to go through that trauma, and that makes me go out and work hard.